Uh-huh. All right. Okay. People, we're gonna get into it. We're just gonna jam. We're gonna keep it loose. We're gonna find our way. We're gonna navigate the day, and I think we're gonna learn some things about ourselves, about this technological world, this landscape. How are you? My name is Tim, guitar friend Tim Fagan, based in Nashville. Hit songwriter, producer. I just make noises these days, mostly for my dogs. And they love it. They have no choice, right? If you're there, say hello. It's always a bit of a gamble trying to figure out whether or not the live stream is live. If you're a friend, say hello. If you're a new visitor, say hello. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever about building beats in Ableton. I'll try to answer them the best of my ability. These are a few that I was working on yesterday. What's up, Ken? One of our friends, KJH right there. Ken, did you get your hat? Did you get your hat yet? So this one, can't see it, it's right over there, but there's like a little analog synth. So I got some analog synths that come in here. I got one. Otherwise, I'll have some things in the box. And just to play it sort of quick and easy, I might use an octavizer on this guitar to give us the bass sound. So I'm turning off various layers now. I'll try to do my best to show the screen that I'm using. It'll start switching when I click on a button, and it'll show the Ableton screen. And by no means, if you're just diving into this, don't expect any of this to come right away or quick and easy. If you're curious about how this stuff works, I'm going to talk about how I just build loops in terms of how I build parts in general, because that takes a while, and it's an ongoing art form to sort of figure out how you're going to stack ideas so they can all mesh together. I'll also get into some of the technical questions and answers if you have any, but really, most of it is just about finding things that inspire you, running with it. I'll speak from the first person. I find that if I find any idea, whether it's a beat or a loop or a little riff, that sparks a little bit of curiosity, I just chase it. And then I try to find something else that plays nicely with it, that has that same sort of feeling. And I feel like I usually am having a good day when I'm not quite sure what I've made, but I like it. So for whatever that's worth, that's a philosophy behind it. Reggie Poole in the house. Nice, glad you're around. I'm gonna turn on this sort of camera switcher, so as I work, it'll sort of be showing different close-ups and whatnot. Hopefully it all works. Hopefully everything's going well in your world. If you want, feel free. We can make it like an improv class. If you want to give me a key or a tempo or even a style, that's great. So these were things that I built yesterday. Let's start fresh. Let's start blank slate a la carte. And what I will do here, in fact, I'll switch right over now to, there's that screen, and I believe on here, boom, that'll show you what I've been using to drag loops in. So Loop Cloud is one that I really enjoy. Splice as well. Splice just did that thing this morning where it's like, oh, you got to log back in. I was right about to go live. I'm like, I don't have time to email myself the forgot my password link. So we're just going to work with Loop Cloud, which is great. I do enjoy it very much. In fact, I'll just switch over here. You can just see what I'm working with. I make collections of beats and things like that. I use Yurt Rock a lot. It's a great sample library. And so these are just, what's great about this is that it is talking to Ableton Live. So right now Ableton is set at a tempo of 111. That means that no matter what the original tempo was for these beats, they're going to be locked in at 111, which is one of those really cool things about living in the modern era. So let's say if I just took this sort of steady meat and potatoes rock beat and I put it right there, I dragged it into this what looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but it's fun. Hello. Okay, so this was a beat that was originally recorded at 99 BPM. I have it at 111 just cause, but I could move it around, make it real slow and stanky. So I'm adjusting a dial here on one of my MIDI controllers. And you can see the tempo there is moving all over the place. Let's see if I take it to the original tempo of 99. Let's see where the player had it intended to be. That's good. Hey, Michael B, how we doing? Kundalini King. All right, House of Pain. That's House of Pain. Does it sound like it? What is up? Yeah, sometimes we'll get beats and riffs that, oh, that last bit, maybe it was, yeah. You never know. You never know who you're channeling. A lot of times I'll just let myself noodle in a key that I like, sort of like a starting point. A blues. You know what I mean? Who doesn't love the A blues? So I've got a little octavizer obviously on that. And I don't always start with the ground floor, like the lowest frequency, but sometimes when it's good to warm up, you just sort of go with that instinct. So that's just the bass part. Oh, it went crazy. It went crazy. All right. That's my fault. See, part of looping is the fun of making tragic looping mistakes in front of people. It's always fun. Somewhere along the way, we got up to 105. I don't even know how I did that. I might have hit the wrong button or something. I'm gonna take the blame for that. So we'll set that at 100. Keep it 100. All right, so I've got this octavizer. I'm gonna try to do this A funky little loopy doop. I'm gonna clear, I'm pressing on foot controller. Sorry, I'm not showing it to you, but it's the Nectar Pacer if you're wondering. Maybe? Seems like we're all right. Seems like we're getting there. Like that thing right there. Maybe a little too arty on that, maybe not that. So I might find like a little, after sort of an initial exuberance of playing whatever, I might sort of zero in on a little stinky rhythm part, right? Okay, so now I got to figure out where I'm going to put this. I just sort of lost the technical thread there, which is great. So I am using, I'll stay on this camera. Oh no, I hit a button and it went crazy. Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the auto switcher for a moment. We'll stay on this camera for a bit. How are y'all doing, by the way? Don't be shy, ask me questions. The whole idea here is that I'm letting you see what I would do if I was by myself mostly. I basically talk this way to myself. There's more talking to the dogs, but they're a bit lethargic at the moment. We just went on vacation. Went away for 2 weeks, which is what? 14 dog weeks? That's a long time for them. It's tough for them to get back into the flow of things. So this here is the built-in looper. A looper, aptly named looper, inside of Ableton Live. It is very good. I'm controlling it with the foot controller and I enjoy it very much. So it has recorded that bass part, and now where it says drag me, I'm gonna click and drag just like it says. So now it's its own audio clip. It's not playing yet, but I've dragged it over to this bass track. And as a little side note, I try to make sure that I put on Complex Pro and not repitch, because if I change tempos, it'll go chipmunk and all that. So check it out. Now, when I do this, now they're both playing, which is, I don't want that. So I've just muted the looper. Now I have this as its own separate audio part. This is just how I'm doing it today. Other days I might add right onto that looper within the looper plugin and just have it all be one thing. But if I wanted to have it be separated, that's my moment of decision where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make sure I don't screw that up. So I'm gonna turn off that. I'm gonna turn that on. So now I've got this electric channel right here. I like that. Maybe sort of break it up there. Now I'm recording. Come on. Now it's in there. It's in there like swimwear, as my friend used to say. I hope he still does say that. I gotta check in with him and find out. It's a good time. I don't know anymore what's in Logic, because I've drifted away, Michael B. That's a great question. I bet there is, because essentially, Logic has been trying to keep up with Live, Ableton Live. It's funny because back in the day, a bit of a history lesson that no one cares about here. Back in the day, using Pro Tools was the best, the industry standard, and some people might claim it still is, but definitely in the early 2000s, Logic came along and smoked Pro Tools by making MIDI more friendly and more approachable and like dragging in loops and just having it magically work, as is the Apple way. And then through recent years, I feel like Ableton has stolen away more people where they're like, it's a higher learning curve in some ways. But the upside is that what I'm doing now, for the last several years, I was in Pro Tools, I was in Logic, and now I've been in Ableton every day doing these live streams, that I'm most familiar with what Ableton does quickly and well when it comes to looping and things like that. Like even what we're looking at here, this form of looking at the music is, traditionally speaking, not what you would find in Logic. Now, all that said, in the last few years, Logic definitely has like a session and a track view, meaning the typical way of looking at the music is that it's going left to right like that, right? That's sort of like, oh yeah, that's a digital audio workstation. But Ableton has both of those views. So if I just want to mess with these clips, these loops, and go crazy with them, I might only build them in here and then just do live DJ. The whole idea of Ableton Live is that it's very stable, which is just to say, I bet Logic does have exactly that now. It has a really beefed up sampler now, many of the keeping up with Ableton type of moves. So take a dive, let me know, because is Logic what you have and you use? By the way, let us know in the comments. Do you have a digital audio workstation? What do you use? This is a safe space. If anyone wants to get all, you should do this, we'll get rid of them. Don't worry. Like, just if you don't have one, that's great. all I'm trying to show is that the mix of the technical stuff, once it works, fingers crossed, hopefully I didn't just bring the tech gremlins my way by saying that. When it's working, it's very inspired and fun and funky and whatever you want it to be. Hey Angus, how are we? We got some friends in here from the Paul Davids Accelerator. We got some friends from my community in the Guitar Friend Tim world. And we're just kicking it on a Thursday? I don't know. I still can't tell what day it is, which is a good sign, you know? Yeah, the learning curve. Oh yeah, FL Studio. Fruity Loops, which is like a whole other thing that a lot of people that do electronic music, like friends of mine, went straight to FL Studio and they rave about that. And I haven't even cracked it open. There is a point at which you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna play the one that I know. That's what I'll do. The switcher thing stopped working. But anyway, yeah, so moral of the story always is use whatever one you know best that works for you. And you can do looping in basically all of them. Even if you were to just build a part like sort of on the sort of strips of audio and then just loop that. I've done that for years in Logic, just coming up with parts, which is essentially what I'm doing here. Like I test out an idea, I might record it a bunch of times and then grab a take that I like best. Music. All right, so we'll let that opening warm-up riff just be what it is. That's all it was, all it needs to be. I might do a little canoodling over this if I was like kind of jamming on my own. I might do like a touch over here, touch over there. Lost. I mean, don't get lost. Stick around, but just get lost in it. You know, it's all right. It's all right. Then you get some bells and whistles. What's not to love, kids? What's not to love? What are we doing out there? How are we doing out there? How does this day find you? Well, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. And again, it's not a ranking system. I'm just curious how I can help. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much looping have you done? I'll just leave it at that. How much guitar looping have you done? And that could just be like literally just, and kind of in its most classic form, just you and a loop pedal hanging out. I got a looper out in the living room, and that is my real creative sketch pad. Because I do feel, even though today I'm doing a lot in the box on the fly, it can be a very slippery slope if you get around the gadgets too much while you're in the phase of trying to create. You can lose a spark because who knows when a plugin doesn't update and all of a sudden you're like, you know what, maybe I should go listening to kick drums for 2 hours. It's like, you got to be careful because if you go at it and you have an idea, stay in that idea juju space and enjoy it, you know. So just having a looper is great. A looping pedal I highly recommend. See if I can turn off this switcher. It's a little bit aggressive as we're just going around here, going around. But we'll leave it there for a second. 1 out of 10. All right, well then there's always somewhere to start. How about if I do a little bit just talking about looping itself again? Sorry I don't have a camera pointed at my foot, but you get the idea, the concept of, in fact, you'll nicely be able to see it on this looper pedal down here. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see how it is interacting with, with my gestures, as it were. So I've got this foot controller, and on it, it's linked up to this looper, and it'll record, it'll overdub, and all that kind of stuff. And so let's see, give me a key that you want me to mess around with, or something like that, and I'll just sort of try to play with sort of an idea. We'll crowdsource it. If anyone's curious, this is a jamstick guitar that is really pretty good. I only say pretty good because, maybe I'm still under the bias of like, well, it's mostly a teaching tool because it's got the dots that can dance on the screen. But they did a good job of building it like a pretty solid little sort of Strat style guitar. And I just got it set up. When I went away on vacation, my blue guitar went to the spa as well and came back with pretty good intonation up there. And when I do the dots on the screen, you'll even see the dots look a little happier. They look a little less disheveled because they're kind of fitting where they should on the pitches on the fret. Let's try E major. I love it. E man, either way. E man and E major, they're the same to me. All right, so let's do an E major kind of loop, just starting out of thin air. And one thing, as a technical note, when I'm working in software, I got to make sure that it's not playing, because if it's playing, then it'll already be sort of clipping along at its own tempo. The beauty of this, when it goes well, famous last words, is that I think if I just sort of set a tempo, there goes Tony in the background. If I set a tempo, it'll honor that. So if this is the very first thing that I'm laying in there. And today I feel like just out of nowhere doing something like that. So I'm starting with kind of a mid-range or slightly high range. Tony in the background. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna hit record. Maybe I might have been a little late with it. It's kind of late, but we'll work with it. Sometimes you just got to roll with the warts and all. It's a real kind of hesitation a little bit at the end there. But let's just sort of use it to demonstrate. I love these kind of licks because I can reharmonize them. So what I might even do is I might not record that part I was just messing with. And I might do a higher part. Might try a different tone, sort of darken up the tone a bit. So let's say I was like, I wasn't crazy about that. Let me see, I think I have this button. Yeah, okay, so there's an undo there. I'll try to do a little bit more precise with that kind of, be a little more locked in. 3, 4. So it's kind of wonky still, but I'll go with it. It's kind of interesting at least. Sort of very human. Now I might do the bass, right? Maybe I'll record it. So rhythmically, it's a bit suspect to my ear, but now, since it's kind of, Ableton's really good at this, it clocked in on my tempo, which is 84.98, the classic tempo that everyone loves, meaning it's a wildly random tempo, but maybe 3, 4. Not bad, right? at least as a sketch pad, right? Then I might be like, oh, whoa, 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 give me a channel to start shredding on this. That random part. It's chaos. I love it. Maybe kill the drums. Whoa, let's go party people in the house, right? You know what I mean? I don't know what I mean. Yeah, you know, and the speed at which this can all move is a bit terrifying at times, meaning like how quickly it can get out of hand, but also that's the fun of it. It does sort of sometimes feel like downhill skiing or whatever, as if I've ever done that. If you've ever seen me ski, get out of the way. But it's a lot of fun, regardless, to grant yourself permission to just go on instinct and take a little piece of, you know, maybe a little piece of theory. Got that delay on there, built in as a plugin. So a little piece of a, you know, just as far as what that all stemmed off of an E major, and then I just sort of went this nice little double stop, sort of resolving to that, you know, major third there. And I like the idea in terms of compositionally, like having a part that doesn't entirely commit to a chord progression. And the task for me would be deciding, and this is one maybe thing in terms of like how to avoid overwhelm. What I would say is, like, if you're doing a session like this, meaning like a looping session or building beats, as early as possible, that feels comfortable for you, try to decide whether you just did a catch and release, meaning, you know, this first riff that I did, oh my gosh. I don't know if that was, oh yeah, okay, so I totally screwed up there. That's just great. That's just great, gang. That's a good example of what happens when you switch to another loop, but you still have the looper loaded. So what that was the chipmunk thing that I was telling you about. But anyway, what I was attempting to show you, let me just drag this out of there into there, and then I'll clear that, all the doodads. But that initial riff that I had, right? I might build something out of that, but it's more likely what I'm trying to get at is that I might decide, like, okay, that was just a nice warm-up riff. It's an A blues, and I can allow myself to sleep at night knowing that that was a good warm-up. It exists if I ever need it, but I can also let it just float away. And there might be other riffs. Let's say if I was like really inspired. I'm not inspired by that again. You know, you just gotta let the loops be loops sometimes. It was the repitch thing that probably went crazy. Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. Repitch. So now watch this. Maybe it'll work. See, now it's vaguely in tune with itself. Anyway, as you can see, I'm a professional with this, but when you get an idea that you feel like you want to chase down, try to kind of decide whether you're going to put yourself on the hook to finish it, or you're going to really let yourself off the hook. And maybe my other producing friends out there can relate to like that idea of like, oh my God, I've got so many tracks that are unfinished. What do I do? And I've dragged those around, some of them for years. In fact, a quick aside here, I'll play in the background literally 3 tracks of mine that I had living on a hard drive for like over 10 years, which is crazy, but it happens. And I was like, for years, just playing these demos and singing along with it. And I finally decided just a couple weeks ago just to release it right before I went off on vacation, just purely for the fun of like getting that monkey off my back and being like, yeah, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be waiting to be a masterpiece for some other day. It can just be like a cool little 1-minute song. So this is a 3-song EP, and the entire EP is only 3 minutes long. Yeah, track 1 is the longest, 2 minutes. Track 2, 48 seconds. Track 3, 1 minute and 1 second. We're taking it back to like the old school days of airtight radio hits. This is, I'll see if I put up on the screen here, switch to on my Spotify. It has a picture of the doggies. Yeah, this is Not Lost and Altogether Perfectly Normal. That's what I like to think of myself as. So these were demos. That's the idea. Then I added that sort of melody on top. Good, Kundalini King. I see that. Yeah, I'm in favor of just letting them be out in the world. We got to get there before the robots do. We got to do things that the AI would not do. And it probably wouldn't release the raw sort of unfinished tracks, or what we think of as unfinished, right? We got Justin Ridgway in here. Angus, Justin, you got a looper? It is tricky. The timing is tricky, right? Tell me about it. Some days are better than others, you know. Yeah. Bliskineer, I see your comment there. Oh yeah, gotta let them go live, right? So that jam has sort of like a little cool down. Yeah, if you humor me, we're just gonna listen to these. It won't take more than 2 more minutes. This next one I really like. This one, I think you'll like it too. It's 48 seconds. The last song. This was a melody recorded on my telly. The backing track was the demo. What I like about this is the high octave and low octave, identical melody. And they're just singing together, right? This one kind of had a lyric. It was kind of normal. when nothing's normal, right? You try to reassure yourself, like, oh yeah. And this one I might still write as a lyric. I'll put it out side by side with the instrumental. You just never know. And there it is. That's it. That's the EP. Thanks for listening to it. I didn't intend for this to be a listening party, but thanks for humoring me on that. One thing about that second one that I enjoy, that one was recorded entirely back in the day, back in like 2016, that one. And I do remember that melody was completely me doing an exercise of singing, just improvising, singing gibberish, and then learning it on guitar. And I talk about that a lot because I do indeed do it, and I highly recommend it, where I was just singing random stuff and then having to figure out what it would be and where I'd put it and where the vibrato would match it and all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed that, and I still enjoy that. And whenever I hear something like that piece, I think, oh, I should get back into doing that more. Does anyone else do that? Guitar players out there, do you have like a sort of, when you get a little bit, especially when you get a little bit tired of your own usual moves, where you're like, all right, I go, I love that, whenever I have the octave on. So you're like, okay, I'm playing the scale. And then you just go like, let's try a bit of that, actually. We'll see if we can get a singing solo going. What's this one? Oh, okay. All right. Correctamundo. Let's do G instead. Actually, let's do D. Boom. And you can do a call and response. You can kind of like echo your own lick. And then kind of let the guitarist get out of the way and let the vocalist, good, bad, ugly, does not matter. We'll do that riff. Just whatever. I'll do that, okay? I'll actually record that. Moving that over there so I can hear it and reference it, but not hear it too closely, right? I'll turn it up a bit though. I just want the shape of it, right? The phrasing, some of the pitches, right? And also to map it. Okay, I want to try to do this the right way and not get the chipmunk squirrel out here. I'm gonna switch over here to the shbooby-doo that you can see it. I'm gonna grab this. This is stanky as heck. I hope you got some good speakers you're listening to the song. Come on now, let's go everybody. Make sure I can switch this to complex. Wow. All right. So all right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna kill the vibe for a second. So this is the moment where typically I might make a mistake or just sort of overrule the vocal and be like, no, I know what it is. What he's going for is da, da, da. And that sounds pretty close. But the real magic is in the way that I kind of wonkily come down from. And that's when, if I really try to be honest and honor how the vocal phrasing if I like it, comes down, it might be not the usual guitar-based shape. Like usually we do, that sounds kind of good, but what if I had to come up with like something, maybe it stays on one string, right? And gotta, you know, eat shit a few times. So anyway. So I might try to stay on one string, right? So that's as far as I am into it. And it's really important. And if I'm losing any of it right now, it's okay. I understand. You're in the lab with me. That is really important. It's got a real fast. That's very different than. That sounds like a guitar player trying to run for Guitar Player of the Year, sponsored by Ernie Ball, bringing you guitar players at NAMM, if I may. All right, can't get too excited. That's important. It's more staccato and kind of. Let's see what we've got. And I'll just let it loop and let it rip. Okay. Oh, that low stuff. So that little bit right there, and I'll do just a bit of the riff breakdown as far as I can tell, and then we'll just sort of wrap up shop. This has been fun. Thanks for sticking around, hanging around for a random whatever this is. I enjoy it very much. You know what? I enjoy it so much, I might even see if I can record just a stanky little bass something or other on this brute. You can't see it, but it's great. Oh my God, you can hear it. Okay, so what's the progression? Do I want to follow the progression, or do I just want to do my thing? I'm gonna do a regular bass. Can't help it. Gotta bring out the bass in this place every now and then. Hello. That beat is so fat. I love it. Oh yeah, input has to be switched. Sorry, I'm gonna tune. Let's try it. Then, this is something in Ableton that's worth knowing about. I'll kind of grab the later chunks of it. So I'll grab like, I don't know, like that's a little too frisky to my ear. I'll just grab that, right? Then I will spare us any more guitar bass player. Let's see if we miss this guy. A little bit. My friends, it's been fun. Thanks for sticking around. To my guitar accelerators, to my guitar friends, appreciate y'all. We're just gonna groove our way out here. Merge a little bit of that left brain, right brain energy and just have yourself a good time. Great work, everybody. Yeah.